A long time ago, in a country far, far away, they built a track between two lakes. Hi, and thanks for joining us for round 6 of the Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge as we journey to one of the world's most iconic tracks, Interlagos, for the final round of the championship. The sounds of Carnival echo amidst the Senate as in a panoply of diminishing radius turns will require the drivers to go the full Brazilian, silky smooth all the way if they want to succeed. To get us underway today, please give a warm welcome to your commentators, Chris Stevens and Chris Catman Turner.
Welcome to Interlagos and the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache for the final ever Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge. Don't despair, we'll be back next season with a brand new car and series name, but tonight we have a champion to crown. Danny Henny, David Hatton and Tim Ellis are still our contenders for the second driver's title in this series, and tonight one of those three will be crowned champion. I'm Chris Stevens and I'll be your lead commentator for this evening, and joining me as ever is Chris Catman Turner. Chris, are you looking forward to crowning a champion tonight?
I am, and you know what? We're doing it at a wonderful circuit, Chris. We're at the Interlagos Circuit, and it's just what a place for a championship final. Absolutely.
How many Formula One Grand Prix titles have been settled at this fantastic venue in Sao Paulo? More than we can count, and the circuit itself is just absolutely fantastic. Plenty of overtaking opportunities, of course, that huge back straight where we presume we'll be seeing a lot of slip streaming, and especially between some of the guys who've gone for a low downforce setup compared to a high downforce setup. It's quite a split in the field, apparently.
Yes, so we have got a lot of information from the practice sessions. Guys like Danny Henny will be running a low downforce setup. That is, in theory, the fastest way to get around this place, but it is a bit tricky. So there could be a couple of guys who are up the front of the field who find themselves spinning because they've got it slightly wrong, then having to carve their way back through the pack again, Chris. It is a tricky midfield, infield section, really, for those guys on the low downforce. And as you said, the back straight is so long and also slightly uphill. So these cars with slightly low power, you know, any little slipstream you can get will really help you at your VMAX at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Danny's been a little on edge this week. Of course, he, as the man going into this final race with the championship lead by not a comfortable margin, but he's certainly the favourite going into tonight. And he'll be running a special livery for this evening's race. It is a Ferrari 1998 Schumacher tribute. And he said he was a little bit worried about this because he put it on his car and then couldn't quite find the setup. And then, of course, there's what actually happened to Schumacher in the 98 title finale at Suzuka.
That's right, Chris. And you must remember that because you were how old?
1.
Excellent. I remember a little bit better than you because I have more fruitful in age. So yeah, in that race, Schumacher actually fluffed the start because of the pressure, and so had to start from the back of the grid for the second start when the first one was aborted. And then he had a puncture later on in the race and lost the title. So let's hope that Danny suffers less ill fortune this evening.
Absolutely. Although just pulling off the circuit there, just decided that's enough running for now, and he's going to go back to the pits. So 3 races for tonight, as per usual. The main feature race, then the top 20 reverse grid second race, and then just for this round we're doing something a little bit crazy, a little bit old school, original Formula Renault Challenge, where for race 3 we're going to reverse the entire field for the finale, which could throw a spanner in the works for some of the title contenders. So this Interlagos circuit, frankly one of the best in the world, will be the showdown for this championship. But if you're wondering how we got to this point in the championship, I mean, you've missed it. A really incredible season, to be honest. But we've got a nice little recap to get you up to speed. Season 2 of the Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge kicked off at the Nürburgring. where Danny Henny and Alexander Dobesberger brawled for the lead in race 1. And this could be Dobesberger's one opportunity to take the lead of the race, and Henny has to let him through. Henny would redeem himself in race 2 as he came through the field to win in the first of the 2 reverse grid races. Here comes Danny Henny to take his first victory of the season. Reigning champion David Hatton took the final honours of the night, sending out a statement that he would not be relinquishing his title easily. Maybe he isn't the absolute fastest guy in the field, but he knows how to put in a damn good lap time and how to navigate the field safely. And here he comes to take his first victory of the season. Hatton was true to his word, as 3 podium finishes at Imola earned him the championship lead. They go into the Variante Alta for the final time. Danny Henny is making his way out of Rivazza corner for the final time and comes across the line to take his second victory of the season. It's underway and Dobesberger leads the field away. If he can make it work, he can! Fantastic manoeuvre from David Hatton. Meanwhile, Alexander Dobesberger comes across the line and takes the victory in race 2 from pole position. Dobesberger's race 2 win kept him in the title hunt. We are away for the start of race 3. But all eyes were on Stephen Williams as he battled his way to a maiden victory in race 3. And once again, Williams has got the run to draw alongside. Is he going to be able to draw clear at Aqua Minerale? Yes, he is! Stephen Williams takes his first Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge victory. Henny was untouchable in the first race at Suzuka.
Danny is not pulling away, he's still within a second at the front.
But all eyes were on the battle behind as Luca Harrison took his first podium in the series. Can he get it round the outside and take second place? Yes, he can. Meanwhile, here's Danny Henny to take the victory in Suzuka. While the championship protagonist struggled to get through the field on the high-speed circuit, Brian Boomsma redeemed himself with a stunning maiden win. A masterful drive. David Hatton lost out on any points with connection issues in race 3, opening up the door for fellow title rival Tim Ellis. Drills back up on the curb, but Ellis has made it stick. Fantastic manoeuvre. Tim Ellis takes the lead of the race and is going to come to take his first victory of the season. The championship went further into Henny's hands at Silverstone. Here comes Danny Henny, another victory in the Formula Renault Challenge. He said he wanted to get 10 before the end of the season. He's done it tonight! Hatton was able to take advantage of a timely collision between his 2 title rivals at the start of race 2, however. It'll be side by side. Watch out for Andy Flag. Oh, drop it. Henny! And it looked like Ellis has come together. That opened up the door for Kyle Power. Here comes Kyle Power around that final corner. His first victory in the Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge. What a moment. Henny and Hatton went toe-to-toe in an epic battle in the first race at Watkins Glen. Henny moves to the right and Hatton goes to the left. Hatton's out-dragged him by the time they get down to turn 5 this time, and he covers off the inside for turn 5. Henny tries to brave it out around the outside, but just does what Henny has done to him on the previous 2 laps, shows him the curb, and Hatton retakes the lead, with the championship leader just coming out on top to further extend his win record. Just a couple of corners to go, and David Hatton has thrown absolutely everything at Danny Henny. Henny has driven remarkably, but once again, the drama of the reverse grid races struck. One of the cars from the front of the field has gone flying. It was James Marabello, the number 299 car, and there's more contact as they emerge up from the top of the hill of the S's. We've got absolute carnage, leaving Boomsma to take the win. Boomsma kept it clean and has been untouchable, but Henny struck back in race 3, taking a second victory of the night and putting one hand on the championship trophy. What more can we say about this man? For a third time, it's going to be 2 victories in one night. So ahead of the final round of the season at Interlagos, Henny's advantage over Hatton is 62 points, but just 36 points when the drop scores are taken into account. It's all to play for in the gold driver standings as leader, Basso, Flag and Ward are separated by just 35 points, with the silver class going down between Button and Spanners. So many great moments from these past few races. Chris, do you have a moment that stands out for you across this season?
Do you know what? There have been so many. My favourite race event, I think, was Watkins Glen. There was just so much action from start to finish. It was absolutely incredible. Almost equalled there by actually the Silverstone race, where there was a three-way battle for the lead in race 1. I just absolutely loved the precision and the close battles this season have been phenomenal.
It's really been incredible to watch a lot of these guys, and with people who do iRacing, it's always a 50-50 about whether you can race someone cleanly, whether they're actually going to give you the space that you deserve, or whether they're completely blind and they're just going to turn into you or run into the back of you. Whereas here, we know these guys will give the respect on track that you deserve, and we get some great racing out of it. Any standout drivers for you, apart from the obvious?
Yeah, as you say, apart from the obvious, I think Kyle Power's done remarkably well. He is, in theory, still in the hunt for the title, and he's been a bit of a dark horse, and he's obviously our fastest Missed Apex panelist, so he's done rather well for himself. Dobertsberger, we all know, is very, very quick on his day, and he's not in the title hunt, but he's had a couple of incredible results and good battles.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that, actually, because we just saw in the VT, he came out guns blazing in the first race, pole position, great battle with Danny Haney, won the first race, but we haven't really seen that same spark. Obviously, he was taken out on the first lap at Watkins Glen, which didn't help his cause. And of course, he's missed one round, so we have to look at the drop scores to see where he really lies in the championship. But yeah, just not seen that same spark since the first race.
No, absolutely, and some drivers are particular specialists at certain tracks, and I guess the thing is, over it, it's easy enough to have one race where you can be on top of your game, on form. To put a whole championship season together is something else, and Danny Henny has been particularly how should we put this? I guess he's been unstoppable. But that being said, with the drop scores, David Hatton is only 36 points behind, and there are 160 points available this evening, so it is by far over.
Hey guys, and that's not including bonus points for incident points. We have a wild Spanners in the commentary box.
Hey guys, I saw that you tried to get me in earlier. A really interesting practice out there. You're just speaking about Danny Henny. I've been winding him up all week that we're going to create a blockade for him in the open qualifying session, that we are all hashtag Team Hatton. But there's no doubting at all that he's been a worthy leader to the championship. And not only that, he gave Danny Henny a setup to use as well while they were practicing together earlier, which I think shows the spirit of the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Henny's been really, really good at trying to get everyone quick. He's been not only offering setups, he's been offering coaching. And yeah, David Hatton running with a Danny Henny setup tonight, we believe. So he's definitely been a golden force in this championship. Spaz, have you got any other live updates from us from the track, or was that just him leaving the Discord?
No,
right there?
I'm here still. I was saying to Catman a bit earlier that there's a bit of a split in the setups. It's almost a two-class championship, because the ultimate fastest laps here are with a low downforce setup, which is very wild. It takes a long time for the tyres to get settled. But I think if you're one of the top runners, you need that, and you need that to get out of trouble in a pack as well, to defend and attack on that main straight, because there's a lot of toe up that straight. But a lot of the, shall we say, more corporate-paced guys like myself are really struggling with setups. So I came up with what I called a Spanner's dad setup, and a lot of guys, when I shared that, they went, "Oh, thank goodness." A setup that just doesn't instantly crash you into the wall. So there's almost a two-class split in the setups today.
You provided our hot lap for us
right.
this week that we're gonna watch momentarily.
Oh yes, I have to say that was just a 1 a.m. effort, because Steve is in Australia and said, "Oh mate, I need a hot lap. Can you get in your car and do it?" And so I may have been socially merry at the time that I jumped into the rig to do that hot lap.
Okay, right. Well, bear that in mind. Maybe we'll go to that right now. Here is a hot lap of the Interlagos Circuit from Spanners.
Hi guys, Spanners here. Join me for a pedestrian lap of the Autodromo Jose Carlos Parche, named after, well, Jose Carlos Parche, who was a Brazilian Formula One race winner in the 70s. Now, these were some test laps that I put together for Steve so he could test out his camera positions for the event you're about to enjoy. So don't expect miracles, but this is a fantastic circuit to show you around. It's absolutely stunning in VR, and it produces epic racing. The first corner we approach is the world-famous Senna S's. You need to sacrifice everything on entry and stay much tighter than you'd think, because once you see that second apex, you want to pin the throttle and be flat out all through the Curva do Sol. It is comfortably flat out, however, you do want to make sure you get back on before the grass and avoid a 1x from using too much curb. Turn 4 is a bigger stop than you'd think, and one of the interesting things here is that there's so much runoff that people think they can go off and safely come back on at full speed. You can't. Uphill now towards Ferradura, and then you have to commit to Curva de la Regina. But you do have to commit early to turn 7, pinning the throttle and just hoping you've judged it right on exit. The line is critical into turn 8. All 4 wheels go on the inside of the white line. I said inside the white line, spanners. Then patience on the left, a late apex, but I've really missed that by a long way. Up the hill and spot the apex early. You want to keep your beady eyes on it and take as much curb as possible. It's flat out on the penultimate corner, and then it's all about lining yourself up for the home straight. The entry to the final turn is horribly uncomfortable, but you need to take it to maximize the run up the hill. With any luck, my race laps will look a little tidier than that. But whatever the result, I always enjoy driving around this absolutely magnificent circuit.
A lukewarm lap from Spanners Freddy of the Interlagos Circuit. Of course, you may know it, from Grand Prix racing. Totally different challenge in one of these cars, of course, which does not have the same amount of downforce or power of any of the kind of cars you may have seen racing around here. As we're following Alexander Dobbelsberger getting very close with Mark Greenhow. Save it for the race, boys. As for tonight, oh, go on, Chris.
I was going to say, do you know what? We do joke about the hot laps being a lukewarm lap, but I think the strength of the field, particularly this year, has been absolutely incredible. It's the amount of practice these guys are getting with the lockdown and virtually having nothing else to do. They're getting rather good at this, Chris.
Absolutely. And you know what? I mock Spanners, but there have been some races where he's really given me a hard time. And I think maybe in the Formula 3, I'm yet to properly battle him yet, as we've been doing for this season of officials. But certainly in the Formula Renault, he could give me a hard time. And if I jumped into this field, I'd be happy if I made the top 20. So definitely there's a very high level of skill in this championship. I think if you came across most of these guys in an official session, you'd know to take them seriously.
And speaking of high skill level, we actually are joined by our championship leader, Danny Henny. Danny, how are you feeling ahead of the 3 races this evening? No pressure at all?
Quite good, to be fair. I've been a bit nervous through the week. Obviously, the livery I'm running is a bit tainted historically, but yeah, I'm feeling all right. I'm a bit between setups at the minute. I've got 3 I've looked at. I'm not really sure which way to go yet. So yeah, even this late in the day, I'm still messing about with the car.
Wow, that is late in the day. So there, as we were saying earlier on the feed, there is a few ways to go. Obviously, very low downforce to make sure you can pull away from people or even overtake down that back straight. But then you'll be kind of under pressure in the middle sector. There's not a lot of overtaking opportunity in the middle sector, so surely the fastest way and the best way around is the low downforce.
It seems that at the minute, there's for myself, there's nothing between them really. I've gone slightly faster with a lower downforce. But it's a lot high energy driving, should I say, because the rear's moving around a lot. The high downforce, I can put the same times in, but as you say, you make one mistake in the middle sector and you're 3 or 4 tenths down.
Yeah, and that's it. And that can be a big difference, particularly in qualifying today. Do you think, how important do you think that pole position in race 1 is going to be for you today?
It's important, but to be honest, I've already said to David, as long as I'm somewhere near him, I'm it's the first time I'll probably ever say this, but I'm not too fussed about a pole and a win as long as I finish in front of David. That'll do. It could be 35th for all I care.
Well, I think you're going to be a bit higher up than that. But best of luck for this evening, and we'll get your championship rivals in and have a chat with them in a moment as well.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, before we talk to David in particular, I'd be very interested to get his insight in this defending champion, of course. Before we talk to them, though, I should tell you that we have a new iRacing podcast where Spanners gets together with Bradley Philpott, who, of course, is doing a lot of sim racing this lockdown while he's not doing his actual racing. He's been racing in the VCO esports series and will be joining a very good esports team in the not too distant future. So he is definitely an expert when it comes to things on iRacing. And so if you want to know how to get quicker, then this is definitely the podcast for you. And we can play a little snippet for you now.
Why does generally a fast setup feel harder to drive, and generally an easier to drive one is slower? Why isn't there just a magic middle? Why can't it be all things?
If a setup feels safe, if it feels like you got loads of grip, then you probably could get away with less wing or a car which turns in better. What you don't want is a car that has a completely planted rear end, as an example.
Yeah.
But that means you're really slow on the straights. It's quite easy to make a setup which feels very safe and you can do consistent laps and get around the track, never being in danger of spinning, but it just means you're giving away time in other areas. A fast setup doesn't have to feel tricky, but sometimes they do. Sometimes the fastest setup is one which is on edge, particularly if you can gain a lot of time on a particular circuit by lowering the wing level. I don't go for a particular kind of setup because I basically just take whatever this week's track setup is.
Fair enough.
And just say, well, if the person who made this setup can do those lap times, that's what it's capable of, so I'll just drive better.
They tell you what laps they did.
So on Pure Driving School, which is the service I use, it's one of the two main setup subscription services with iRacing.
Not an advert.
It's run by Max Beneke, who is the driver with the highest I rating. They call him 10K Beneke, but I think actually he's got 11 now. But anyway, they show you a video of that lap, so you can choose the pro race setup, the qualifying setup. You can look at the telemetry that they achieved when they did their best lap, and you can also watch a lap on board in certain temperatures. So you can see what the setup is capable of. So I don't then go, oh, I reckon I can make that better, I'll tweak it. I go, fair enough, if he's doing those times, I need to just drive better to achieve those times, and then I'll go out and just practice until I can, hopefully.
iRacing Insights brought to you by our new iRacing podcast, which you can catch on this channel, Mr. Apex Motorsport. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And while you're at it, like this video and help us out getting up the YouTube algorithm, because when next season comes along with the F3 championship, we want as many people as we can get in the live chat room. And hello to the live chat room, actually. Thank you for joining us this evening, and we hope you enjoyed tonight. Now, we've got just under 2 minutes left in this session. Chris, I think we've got just enough time to talk to one more championship protagonist if you've got one waiting in the wings.
I sure do, Chris. I have hopefully have David Hatton in the room with us. David, how are you doing this evening? You feeling nervous?
I'm not nervous at all, actually, given you have to have me down as an extreme outsider to do anything with the championship now.
Oh, I don't know. The thing is, you're only 36 points behind, and there are 3 races to go with 160 points on the table. What Danny, is, as we always know, lightning quick. But the problem is, if he gets involved in an incident, you're right in there, David, and you got to really go for it this evening. I rate your chances.
Yeah, the problem is the speed of Danny. Basically, he's a good half, 3/4 a second of a second ahead. So So I'm going to struggle to get in the top 5, I think, and Danny will probably win the first race, and then obviously the second and third race is a bit more of a lottery. So yeah, I'm not expecting too much, but I'll do my best.
Do you know what? I think as long as we're out there and giving it all we've got, then that's all we can ask. And actually, do you know what? Danny is not the quickest guy out there today, so you do have a ray of hope there, my friend. But best of luck for this evening, and keep it clean, and I'm sure you'll be up there somewhere.
Thank you.
Defending champion David Hatton there doesn't sound all that confident about retaining his crown. But that is the end of practice. And it was Brian Boomsma, by the way, who was quickest in that session. Now we roll into qualifying. It's an open session, and we can already see everybody's chomping at the bit to get out there first. Almost a collision at the pit lane exit. But there's Lucas Raskovic in that classic JPS colour scheme, leading them out of the field. And Danny Henney right behind him with his title rival Tim Ellis, and James Wingfield close behind.
I think David was being very modest there. He was well within the top 10 on that practice session, and he's got a habit of pulling it out right at the last minute when it really matters. So I'm still looking for a top 5 in qualifying for him, I reckon.
Often a very humble man, David Hatton, and probably the nicest guy in the world as well to ever compete in a Missed Apex event, and fiercely fast as well. Of course, he's been a regular top contender in our karting events, was on for a podium in the A-Class final at our first event, was the B-Class champion at Rye House as well, if I remember correctly. So he's definitely got the repertoire. As Danny Henney exits the final corner, and he's going to start a flying lap soon.
Yeah, we mustn't forget our second class as well. So we've got the Platinum class, which is Danny Henney and David Hatton and Tim Ellis, who are all fighting for honours there. In the Gold class, and actually 7th overall, we have Gregory Leader, who is tied on points with Alex Derbertsberger for that Gold category championship. So it is definitely all to play for there. As well as just behind them, we've got Ismail Basso and Andy Flagg, who are only about 34 points behind. So it's really hot in that Gold class, Chris.
Gregory Leader's been incredibly quick this week as well. So he's definitely I don't want to say favourite, because anything can happen in the mid-pack and the Gold driver standings, but he's definitely sitting pretty at the moment, so long as he can utilise the speed he has here, it seems. Now, Danny Henney coming out of Descido de Lago for his first flying lap. Now, remember, it takes time for these tyres to get into their operating window. It'll probably be the 3rd or 4th lap where we see the ultimate lap times from these guys.
That's it. And when you make a mistake on your first or second lap, then you scrub the tyres, and actually it takes you a little while to get back into there. And they've only got 10 minutes, or rather 7 minutes remaining now. So actually, it does make a big difference, and also traffic as well, Chris. It's good to get a tow, but that middle sector, you don't want to be meeting someone through those hairpins. Absolutely.
Not like Watkins Glen, where the tow was somewhat favourable. Danny actually mentioning the fact that he didn't have a tow. He liked us to make that perfectly plain at Watkins Glen during the qualifying session.
Yeah, it was a bit of a lottery there. But so your predictions, Chris? I think Danny's close to a shoo-in for pole position. But as you were saying in the practice session, he wasn't on top.
Yeah, Brian's been very, very quick, although both have felt the wrath of the runoff areas and the barriers. And Henny's benchmark is a 1:31.7, so he's put it sub 32 straight away. That is a little bit of a gauntlet down moment, isn't it?
That is a hot pace for your first lap out of the pits. That's absolutely incredible. Good half a second ahead of Tim Ellis, his championship rival, and David Hatton popping it in at 0.9 of a second behind. All that being said, Chris, Henney has put it in the wall, as we were saying, so he's not going to be able to get that crucial 3rd or 4th lap with the hot tyres. He's immediately straight back out. He knows that he's under pressure now.
Just coming out of Descido de Lago, and he even messaged me this morning to say, oh, you've got to watch out for turn 4. It's one of the easiest corners on this track. to drop it because of the bump on the exit. I suspect he's fallen afoul of that. I wonder if he'll make a last-minute setup change to one of the many options he seems to have available. But of course, as you say now, he's got to wait another 2 laps to get his tyres up to temperature.
He had, so this throws pole position right open. You got Ellis and Boomsma 5 and 6 tenths behind, but the problem is that, as I say, Danny's going to have much cooler tyres, much less in that window to get the really, really decent lap. So Ellis could be in full pole position here.
Yep, so this is Ellis's second flying lap he's about to complete now. Currently second fastest on a 32.2. They go tight into that pit lane. It's always really sketchy. I'm glad they changed the rules about that in real life, but Ellis's second lap, I don't think he improved. Still on a 32.2, so maybe he made a mistake down there somewhere or backed off because he was the car behind Henny. So I wonder if he backed off for Henny's incident.
Yeah, I think he had to. It was a good second down. It was a 33.3 that second lap for him. So I think this is the one where he's going to really push and see if he can make it round, Chris.
Absolutely. Still got Boomsma there in third place, although I don't think he's completed his second lap. Yep, yeah, he's just gone 32.5. So he's 42 thousandths of a second behind Ellis at the moment for a spot on the front row. Andy Flagg has popped it into fourth place ahead of Ishmael Basso. Now, those are 2 names we're used to seeing inside the top 10, but to get that far inside the top 10 with the super quick guys is pretty good. Adam Rosales now puts it on the front row of the grid on a 32.1. I wonder if he had a slip shape super close for the second spot on the grid at the moment.
Yeah, there is a cracking time from Henny from his first lap out. It's still not being touched. He's a good 4 tenths clear of the rest of the pack. But as I say, the others see if they can get through. We do, as you were saying, Chris, those gold drivers are really making a difference there. Basso and Flagg doing incredibly well. We've got Harrison up in 6th now as well, and Dubertsberger just put in a lap to come 5th with a 32.3.
Absolutely, so still Rosales on the front row then. And Ellis, did he invalidate that lap time? It's coming up with the dash for his last lap, and that usually means his lap wasn't legal. So I wonder if he exceeded the track limits somewhere.
Yes, I think I saw him do it, Chris, at the bottom of the hill. And yeah, just run over that really outside curve where Henny dropped it. I think he had to go a little bit wide and prevent himself from going off.
Hatton on the front row of the grid, still 4 tenths adrift of Henny, but crucially in a top position, front row of the grid for now. Still 3 minutes left in this session, so probably 2 more laps in for these guys, maybe 3 if they just cross the line.
That is absolutely crucial for Hatton. He was saying that he didn't rate his chances. A P2 is absolutely incredible for him this evening. If he manages to keep that front row slot and just slot in behind Henny, then he's got a real chance, as with the reverse grid races this evening. Because he tends to keep it quite clean through those races. So as I was saying to him, he's got to keep his chin up, keep going. You can make it.
We've seen in the last 2 rounds, Danny Henny has been involved in a stark collision during the reverse grid race 2, and Hatton has kept it clean. It's been where he's been making up his points recently. So Henny's had him on ultimate pace, but Hatton's been the one keeping it clean, and actually has gained 15 points on him in incident point bonuses. Of course, every time you go off the track or you have a collision, you collect incident points. There are bonus points available for not picking those up.
Yes, and Chris, just a bit of an update from the track. We got Danny Henny, who has again dropped it and put it in the wall. So he is back with only 1 minute 53 seconds left in the session. He's having to come back out of the pits again. So I don't think he's going to be able to improve.
Well, he'll get 1 flying lap, so it'll be the same conditions that he set his best lap time on. If he still gets the pole position, despite so many incidents, Hatton has improved his time, but not position. He's on a 32 flat now, but still more than 3 tenths away. But Boomsma has now just put it on the front row of the grid, a 10th and a half behind Henny.
Hatton's improvement was crucial because we had Rosales and Dubertsberger also improve their time speed within a few hundredths just behind Hatton. So it's absolutely incredible, really, that these guys are so close over such a long lap in these cars.
Absolutely. I mean, what is it at the moment? 1 second covers the top 15 cars?
Yeah,
So,
that's it. It's a good second, and also, you know, even behind there's hundredths separating them all the way down the field. We've got Spanners ready down in 26th place, and he's only 1.6 seconds off the pole position, and he is actually just a very, very minute amount away from Matt Trumpets. He's just in front of him, so there's a good inter-podcast battle going on there.
So Henny is about to start his final flying lap. Ellis has just come across the line as well. So Henny's got Edward Shelley for close company as well. And Shelley presumably has got hot tyres and actually might fancy a run at him. He'll be punching a nice hole in the air for Shelley to drive through as well. So he'll be getting a slipstream as well. Luca Harrison has popped into third place, pushes Hatton down to fourth. I think he'll still take that if that ends up being our grid. But of course, one more lap to come from these guys, and the checkered flag is almost out.
I was just watching Hatton, Chris, and he's made a mistake into turn one. He got a great slipstream down the start straight, so I thought he'd be on for a good lap. But then he messed up his braking into turn one, ran wide. So I think this is him not improving, and he's down to fourth.
Ellis has dropped it at turn 4 as well, so we're definitely not going to be seeing an improvement for him. He's currently in 9th, and it will get no better for him at the moment. So it's all going to come down to Boomsma, Harrison or Hatton to see if anybody can dethrone Danny Henny despite his one lap time on the board. And I'll tell you what, he's actually catching James Wingfield as well now. Might get a little bit held up as Wingfield falls off the road up at Bico de Pato. I don't think that held him up too much, so he might still get a decent lap time in, but I don't say, oh no, he's dropped it at Zheng Xiao. So it will be no improvement for Danny Henny, but will it even matter? Where is Brian Boomsma? He is coming through turn 9 now, and this will be his final lap. So I think he has also just come out of the pits though. Certainly he seems to have had an incident somewhere down in the session, I think.
Hatton is just down the start finish straight. He's going to cross the line. Let's see if he can improve his time and get up from fourth. He's coming to the pits. So no, that's no improvement for Hatton either, Chris.
So we'll get no better than fourth place for him. Here's Brian Boomsma. Can he snatch pole position at the last possible second? No, he is also coming into the pits. So it is Danny Henny on pole position once again for the finale, despite a number of issues, but seemed like everybody else seemed to have their own problems as well. So it will be Boomsma on the front row of the grid, Luca Harrison and David Hatton, the reigning champion, in fourth.
Oh, do you know what, Chris? I'm out of breath. That was one of the most exciting qualifying sessions we've had all season. If the race is anything like that, I think we're in for a good evening.
Some cracking qualifying performances as well for Andy Flagg, Adam Rosales, Gregory Leader as well. Don't forget that gold driver battle. That's going on right in the thick of the action in the top 10. Dobertsberger in 8th. Tim Ellis down in 9th place. He'll be wanting to pick up some places from there. Stephen Williams in 10th place. Kyle Power, the head panelist in this field, in 11th place. Shelley got up to 12th there in the end. Basso, Julesma and Watley is the top 15. And so now we're just lining up on the grid. Any predictions for this one?
Less a prediction, more an observation, actually, Chris. Do you know what? Last season, when David Hatton took the title, we were all saying that he was the super quick one and that Sam Harper was the consistent one, whereas now it's completely changed around. I can't believe that, because it just shows that actually the strength of this field, that we're considering David Hatton to be the consistent one.
Absolutely. Seems to have turned on its head, but it will be Danny Henny in that rather smart Ferrari 98 Tribute. All red on the front row of the grid. The orange and black native colours for Brian Boomsma. Luca Harrison in the all-white in third position. David Hatton in that very familiar black and lime green big number 1 on the front and side of his car. And today may be the day he relinquishes that number 1 slot. Remember to look out for Flagg, Rosales and Leader, their gold driver battle. We're going to get a great view of it off the start line as well. But 9 laps ahead of this Interlagos circuit. And of course, some of these guys are starting on an incline.
Yes, it's an incredibly hilly circuit, this one. And that can actually, as I said, in Formula One it makes less of a difference, but with these cars, they have a lot less power. So where you start on the grid can make a difference, Chris, as we go to the lights.
Yep, just a few short seconds away from the start of the final round and the final ever Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge race. The lights are up and we're about to get underway for the championship finale. It's the green flag, and Danny Henny gives a puff of smoke from his rear tyres, gets a little bit of wheel spin, although Brunsma has not got a good enough start to challenge him down into turn 1. It's Harrison trying to go around the outside into the centre S. Is he going to get him into turn 2? No, Brunsma closes the door, and it's as you were for the top 4. Brunsma's got a great launch coming out of turn 3 here. He may well challenge Henny down the Retroposta, and by the time they get down to Skidoo del Lago, half the field's gone missing. I think there's been some sort of incident down at the centre S. Henny closes the door on Boomsma and retains that lead. There's that bump we were talking about there. See Henny's car just buckling a little bit under the pressure. Boomsma got a great drive out of Skidoo del Lago though, and he's going to be on the outside of Ferradura. Be a brave man who goes around the outside there on the first lap, but he's trying it, and he knows that Henny is the man going for the title, and he thinks he may well get him to yield on that, still trying to go around the outside, but Henny holds it firm and keeps the lead. All this keeping Luca Harrison and David Hatton in close proximity.
That's it, and Harrison and Hatton. Hatton has just had a lunge down the inside, from Rosales, and actually Rosales has got alongside. He hasn't quite made it because he hasn't got the inside line for the next corner, but he's under a lot of pressure, Chris.
Side by side through Maguglio on the opening lap is definitely a sketchy affair, and he'll be under massive pressure out of Zheng Xiao as they come out of the final corners and back onto the pit straight to start lap 2. So still Henny who leads, a slender margin to Boomsma. Luca Harrison, David Hatton coming under big pressure from Rosales now. Boomsma going to the outside into the centre S. Draws a bit of an overlap, tries the outside line once again, going to get the inside line for turn 2 this time. He's done it. Boomsma takes the lead, but Henny straight back into the slipstream as they round this turn 3, absolutely flat out and onto the straight. Harrison getting a great view on that. Hatton managed to repel Rosales just behind them, but it's side by side for the lead once again. We saw this so many times at Watkins Glen, we're seeing it again at Interlagos, and Henny just gets a bit of a shove out. They both go wide. And they both survive, but Harrison now wanted to pick up the pieces. He goes into second place. Henny back up the inside though into Ferradura. He's not going down without a fight. And back up the inside once again into this turn 8. And is he going to be able to shut the door on him? Harrison's still in there. This is fantastic racing we are seeing here in the finale of the Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge, and Henny holds it on, and Hatton goes wide behind them. Is that going to give Rosales another sniff at 4th place?
Yeah, he had to go wide because Rosales locked up on the inside and tried to make a lunge, and actually he saw that coming and let his braking go.
Henny out wide, and Harrison goes through into second place. That could be a mistimed move though, because Henny's going to get a great slipstream, and we think they're both running this low downforce setup. So Henny's not going to have too much of an advantage in terms of straight line speed apart from that slipstream. Harrison covers the inside, and it's going to be Henny going down the outside. He told me he's been practicing this one all week so that he can nail him around the outside. Henny has got into him! The 2 championship contenders have come together at turn 1! I don't believe it!
I'm absolutely speechless.
I don't believe it!
So yeah, that was Hatton just completely got his braking point wrong, locked up and had no option but to slam into the side of Henny. Henny is miles back. Hatton has managed to regain a little bit better than him, but that has absolutely thrown the title wide open, Chris.
12th and 14th at the moment, so Hatton's continuing in 12th. He must have front wing damage. He does. I think he's going to have to come into the pits. Henny, surely, as well. So he's there holding 14th for now. Going to have a good look at his car. I can't actually see any visible damage.
I think from the onboards, David's wing is good, Chris. I think he somehow managed to get away with that. I think he hit him with front right wheel. It's whether we got any suspension damage that's causing any handling issues for him. Meanwhile, back at the front, we got Derbertsberger and Flag having a ding-dong battle. They are side by side, coming down the hill.
This is
Dermot's just,
unbelievable.
I cannot believe that happened in the final
The
race.
leaders, have come together. Boomsberger and Harrison. Dobbelsberger leads. I don't believe this is meant to. They're definitely giving us a send-off for this car. Get careful, it's got to do another 2 races yet before we can set it on fire at the end of the night.
Here comes Flag into the first corner. The inside, he's shown his nose, but he's not made it. That's put Dermottsberger. No, he's managed to keep it to the apex, so he is currently safe. Then we've got Dermottsberger, followed by Flag. Stephen Williams, where's he come from? Up into P3. And then we've got Gregory Leader, our Gold Championship leader, is in the best place in 4th, with Carl Power in 5th, right behind him.
So don't forget, Flag is also going for that gold driver standing. So this is an open opportunity for some of the gold drivers to come and snatch a good result. So Ellis is the man who could. We said he was the outside chance going into this one, but with the way things are going at the moment, he's in the prime position. So he's in 6th place, coming under pressure from Edward Shelley, though. He needs to be further up to take advantage of this.
Yeah, massive pressure from Shelley and also from Drillsma as well, just behind. Those two are going to cause him real problems coming through the middle sector.
So there's an almighty train of cars going on at the moment. 4 seconds covers the top 10 at the moment. And Dobbelsberger, just eking out a little bit there, about 6 or 7 tenths. That should keep him safe from any slipstreaming opportunity from Andy Flagg. It could actually be Williams who tries to pick up the spoils, although Leader's close behind him as well, looking for a spot on the podium. I tell you, the 2 championship contenders are coming back through the field. They have stayed out, so if they do have damage, they're just sort of dealing with it at the moment. Hatton knocking on the door of the top 10. But meanwhile, there's Williams having to go defensive against Leader. Leader trying to get himself onto the podium, and he runs very deep into the first corner, going to get it slowed down just about. But he's dropped it out of turn 2, and that is the gold championship leader at the moment. Don't forget, so a wonderful opportunity for his rivals to capitalise on that.
Yes, you've got Dobbelsberger now in the lead, so he's going to take a massive hike in that championship. That also puts David Hatton up into P10 with Danny Henning just behind him, a couple of seconds behind in P11. So both guys, despite that massive incident, have done remarkably well to keep it on the up in the points still.
Boomsma coming through the field as well. He's in 8th place at the moment. I haven't seen Luca Harrison. I presume he's gone into the pits to fix his car. Probably came off worse in that collision that was down at Zhongshao a few laps ago. 29th position, I'm being told, and Boomsma getting some side-by-side with Drillsma. He's now got Hatton all over the back of him as well, and actually Ishmael Basso has got between him and Henny.
Yeah, Henny's not able to keep that pace with those guys in front. He must have some suspension damage somewhere, because he's just dropping away from Hatton. And to say Basso, as you rightly said, is coming at Hatton. Although ahead of Hatton, you've got Boomsma and Drillsma, who are about to go side by side into turn 1.
And Kyle Power and Stephen Williams going to go side by side for 3rd place, and Power around the outside, and unlike Leader, actually gets his stop this time and makes the move stick. So he's now up into 3rd place ahead of Williams. Williams going to try and come back at him.
He is, yeah, he's got to go defensive down the back straight. Williams goes outside, Chris.
Yep, up towards the Skidoo de Lago for the 6th time this race. And Williams going to try and brave it out around the outside. Watch out for that bump. It's caught out many so far tonight. And Power with that tighter line through the exit of the corner just shows Williams where the door is. Oh, Williams back up the inside into Ferradura. Fantastic. So and a big twitch from Carl Power as well in that camo Red Bull car. There's a great scrap going on for 3rd place.
He is, and don't forget Carl Power. His VR system broke, so he's a flat earther this evening. So he's maybe giving Williams a bit more room than usual, but he's still doing remarkably well in those wheel-to-wheel battles, Chris.
Williams got to be a contender for Rookie of the Season. I would throw Luca Harrison into that mix as well, but Williams done a remarkable job in his first season of racing in this championship.
Oh, do you know what? I don't see Stephen Williams as a rookie anymore. Do you know
I was going to say that, but technically he is.
Technically. You know what? Him and Carl Power actually had a fantastic battle that we both commentated on in Buckmore Park in real life last year in the karting. That was just incredible. So to see them back on track is just phenomenal. Oh, so that being said, Williams makes a bit of a lock-up. He gets away with it, but that does give Ellis and Power a bit of a run on him down the back straight towards Interlagos, Chris.
Yeah, although he's edged out throughout the rest of that centre S, and actually Power under pressure from Tim Ellis now for 4th place. Shelley and Dronsma very close behind as well. They're battling away.
Flag is also closing on the lead. Yeah, like I say, Flag is closing in on the lead. He's now only 1.4 seconds behind, but we are on lap 7 of 9. So does he have enough time to catch Dobbelsberger?
Last time around, they both did 32.5s, and Dobbelsberger's best lap is 0.3 quicker. I don't want to say Dobbelsberger's got it done, but 1.3 seconds not a big advantage. So we'll watch that unfold over the remaining 2 and a bit laps. And this battle for 3rd place, though, is absolutely cooking. Look at the train of cars behind Stephen Williams. This is incredible, and of course that incredible battle they had at Buckmore Park, also involving Alex Langine and Bradley Philpott in one of the heats, and Carl Power also had a phenomenal scrap for the A-Class final podium as well, which if I remember rightly, he just missed out on.
Sorry to interrupt you, Chris. Drillsman just went wide, and that's put Hatton up 1 place, and he's actually going around the outside of Ed Shelley to get up to 6th place. This is crucial for his title because Danny Henney is still stuck back in 9th behind Vassar.
Power and Williams side by side once again, and Power does get the move done once again. We saw this last time round, and Williams came straight back at him into Desquido del Lago, and we could see the same thing again. Power goes defensive. It's a carbon copy of the last lap. He was able to make it around the outside and up on the inside of Ferradura. He doesn't need Ferradura this time. He's outbraked him around the outside of Desquido del Lago and reclaims that position. And Tim Ellis waiting patiently in the wings for his opportunity. We say Danny Henney has dropped back a little bit. He's now actually only 1 second behind David Hatton. So there's still not going to be a big point swing between those two, or even between Ellis really, because he's 2 cars up the road.
It's a remarkable coming-out drive for him. Hatton putting massive pressure on Shelley into this what will be the last lap coming up, just coming down the hill, and I think realistically Hatton may well get him into this final lap, which, as I say, every point counts in the championship, Chris.
Absolutely. So Dobbelsberger about to come across the line to start his final lap, 1.5 seconds clear of Andy Flagg, so a mistake-free lap should secure him victory in race 1. All eyes on 3rd place as Stephen Williams and Carl Power do the dance again, and Power went to the outside, looks to the inside, goes to the outside again. So once again, it's around the outside of the Senna S. He's tried this twice before, and again makes this one stick. Got to try and keep Williams behind him down the Retro-Aposta this time. He looked like he'd drawn a little bit further clear, but I don't think that's going to matter because the slipstream he gets is so powerful. Hatton making a move behind them on Edward Shelley as well, but for 3rd place it's side by side once again, and Williams trying to go around the outside of Desquido del Lago, and they're so close on the way through, and it's just like 2 laps ago. Going to get it back up the inside into Ferradura. Indeed he does.
He can. Power was very gentlemanly on the exit there, didn't force him up onto the apron, so gave him plenty of room. That gave him the drag down the straight. So that is Williams in front. Power's going to have to rely on the drag down the back straight, Chris. It could be a photo finish for these two.
Absolutely, and between Shelley and Hatton as well. Henny right up behind them as well. For 3rd place is still going off. Hatton, Power could try and force Williams into a mistake, but he's only got 1 corner really remaining. Coming up to Zhengzhou, it is going to be a drag to the finish line. Williams gets a little bit deep into the corner, and Power gets all squirrely on the exit. It's going to be a drag to the finish line. Up ahead, here comes Alexander Dobbelsberger. He's going to claim the victory in race 1. Andy Flagg, phenomenal 2nd place. And for 3rd, it's going to be Williams. Just is it on the line? Power's super close. It was Williams only just by 64 thousandths of a second.
And
Tim Ellis in 5th place.
crucially, Chris, I think Danny Henny managed to get Hatton to the line.
He has, by a 10th to 7th place. What a race. We're not very speechless very often, but what a race.
Wow.
So the two championship contenders come together, and Henny actually ends up, I think, extending his advantage.
Somehow.
And isn't that why Danny Henny is the rightful champion, really, of this championship? Probably in 2 races' time, unless it goes disastrously for him, we're probably going to be crowning him champion. Even the bad moments, he somehow turns them into his advantage.
Well, do you know what? These reverse grid races, there's plenty of opportunity for action. So I wouldn't cap anything out yet, Chris, given what we've seen this evening.
It's not just the regular reverse grid. We've got the full reverse grid race 3 as well. That's going to cause fireworks.
Well, I've got both Danny Henny and David Hatton into the commentary booth.
Oh.
Guys, that was an eventful race. Go for it, David.
Just saying, I've already made my apologies to Danny. That was completely my fault. I was under pressure from Andy Flagg. I thought I braked just at my normal point, but I just went skating off into Danny. So a bit of a disaster, that one.
Do you know what, though? We loved watching it. And Danny, what was your viewpoint on the rest of the race trying to catch back? Did you have any damage?
Yeah, the car was pretty much crumpled afterwards, so my steering was hanging to the left slightly, which was compromising me through the infield. But yeah, it was all right. Stuff happens, like I've just said to Dave, we all make mistakes now and again. So he gave me the place back at the end. So like I say, where everybody else wins and that don't really affect myself and David. But yeah, it was certainly an eventful race. It's certainly not the start to the night I was looking for, put it that way. I told you this livery was painful.
Well, I tell you what, for the first time in this series, you made Chris speechless. So well done on that. Good luck for race 2 and 3.
Thank you.
Great camaraderie between our championship rivals, and that is Missed Apex Esports in a nutshell. Don't go to it. We'll be right back with race 2.